We're going to start on the passenger side quarter panel in the back of the car right here. We're going to make our way around. You can see right off the bat we have some destroyed both base coat and clear coat here. I don't know how all this rubbed off. A lot of it was done by the weather and nothing more. And here we see some tree sap or something right there. So, and if you follow this panel up all the way up to the roof, you can see the same issue that that quarter panel had with paint and clear coat wearing off in certain areas. And these areas tend to be vulnerable because they never put enough paint on them to protect them. If we come down to the bottom, we see the bottom brown panel or bottom panel of the car right there. That clear coat is long gone, and it looks like, yep, somebody tried to cut and rub it and polish it out, and they wound up breaking through the base coat and going all the way down to the sealer. You can also see this chrome right here has seen its better days. It's all faded and starting to peel. There's a couple rock chips right there on this fender opening. Take your fingers and feel up under the wheel well lip, and what you're feeling for is rust and soft spots. And this car is in remarkable shape, and it looks like it hasn't been driven up north too much, so that's one good thing. And rust is the big enemy of all cars, especially when they get this old. And this car's 28 years old, and unbelievably, I don't feel any rust so far. We're going to keep working our way around. But these are expensive repairs because rust has to be cut out if you want to do it right. And then when you get into that, now you're dealing with hammering and cutting and molding and buying the right sheet metal and welding and filling and all this stuff. It's a big job, and it's very pricey and very time consuming if you want to do it right. And you don't come this far on a car without doing things right. Luckily, I don't think we're going to have too much rust. But do yourself a favor, if you get some spare time and you have a car, actually any age, take some time and clean out and grind out the inside of those wheel wells, and then paint any bare metal, and then rubber coat the inside of the wheel wells and weatherproof them to keep any water from actually contacting the inside of those fenders. Here's a big dent on the back of this rocker panel here, and that's pretty much the only real dent on this car other than a little bit of hail damage and a couple of door dings, and of course you're going to have scratches and faded clear and things like that, but nothing like that. That's a serious dent there. They must make these Lincoln Town car roofs very strong because while there's a little bit of hail damage on the hood and a little bit on the trunks, so everything flat has a little bit of hail damage. There's absolutely no hail damage on this roof that I can see. It looks like it just drove off the factory floor. And that white line by the rubber stripping there, that's just leftover wax that somebody didn't get off last time they waxed the car, which I think was me. At the edges of the doors, they always have chips in them, and you can see a little chip, a rock chip right there on the passenger side door on the back one. At the end, I'll show you how to find door dings, which are famous for all cars. Right now, we're just looking kind of at the microscopic stuff and the scratches and the faded paint. the dents are easy. See, there's a chip right there in the edge of that door. And here you see some scratches on that fender right there on the passenger side. And one of the main reasons I'm making this video is so I can come back and watch it and be reminded of the things I have to do. We're just going to take a quick another look. Up. See, I found a rock chip on the roof right there, right in the front, right by that wind deflector thing. And you can see on this hood, there is a lot of actual paint damage, surface damage. We'll come back and look for the actual hail damage, which is pretty minute. I mean, I know there's some there because I've already seen it and spotted it. And there's one that I'm feeling right there. So we'll mark these in the video and come back and watch it later when I'm actually doing the body work. But there's things like scratching, and there's like it was under a tree and sap was laying on it. See right there, and yeah, see those marks right there. That's tree sap that was left to sit and bake on the car, and it's you can get it up, but when you get it up, it pulls the paint and clear coat with it. As for that front bumper, I just restored the whole thing, so that's a non-issue. We're still going over this roof, but we're going to pull the car around and face it the other way to actually find these hail damaged things. And we're going to mark them with masking tape. Let's work our way down the fender, and you can see some more of that sap damage right there. And you can see the pinstriping starting to peel a little bit in some spots. The whole car is not like that, just sections. And around the wheel well, you see a rock chip or two right there. And I don't know if you just picked up on that factory paint run, but we're going to come back to that and I'm going to show you. Here's some clear coat peeling up right there. And around the door edges, it's always a great place for damage, and there's a real big clear coat peel right there. I don't know what that's from. Apparently they didn't get it right at the factory. And while this is a good factory paint job, there's some errors here. Yeah, right around these edges right here where the body seams come together, they tend to have issues, and this is the back door on the driver's side we're looking at. You can see right there, there's a big one. Somebody opened the door and slammed it into something. And the brown at the bottom, you can see it doesn't match the front bumper. But that's because I just restored the front bumper, and you know that if you watch my videos. And here we see a little more pinstripe flaws right there. But the rest of it is just fine once you get past it. And as we go up through the end, you can see a chip of paint right there. It's actually a chip of clear coat. So, well, it looks like they went really thick on the clear coat on most of the car. They didn't on the brown at the bottom of the car. And you can see we have a door sag here, so we have a lazy hinge or a bad hinge adjustment. A lot of these doors don't adjust; they're welded in, and so these always wind up to be more serious of a problem and a bigger job than you'd expect. There's a pretty big gash in the door. You just go around the door edges real good, and these trim edges where the panels meet, they trap water, and These can cause a big problem. They trap a lot of dirt too. I'm always cleaning these out, and it's just a never-ending stream of dirt coming out of there. There's some tree sap damage. And again, feel real good up behind these wheel openings here. And you're feeling for soft spots. And if you feel a soft spot, you need to take care of it as soon as possible. And where that rocker meets those panels, that traps water and dirt right there too. It's a good spot to rot away. And because there's absolutely no rot on this car, I sure don't want to start now. And all these seams, they all trap water where the chrome is. Around these, gas cap openings, people hit these with the gas pump thing and they put chips in them. A little pinstripe damage there. There's absolutely no damage on this roof except for that front rock chip on the very front of it. Very surprised. It's like a skating rink on that roof. And, the glass is dirty. I cleaned this glass with vinegar. It seems to do the trick. This whole back bumper needs to be restored like I got the front one. And I will do that in the spring. And we got some damage. There's a bumper sticker damage. That was a AAA sticker that I tried to take off, and there's no way. It took everything off. There's some clear coat peel right there. Some specks of paint from the previous owner, was a painter. All the chrome around the tail lights and stuff, and the back bumper and all that, that's all in good shape. Up by the trunk lid, not the actual bumper. The emblems are in good shape. And that looks like that piece of chrome, that thick piece of chrome, is not in good shape, but it actually is. It's just, it needs to be de-scratched. And now we're looking down the side of the car, looking for door dings. And I don't see much of anything on this quarter panel. But as we go closer up toward the front of the car, there might be one on that back door there. And this takes a really trained eye, and it's like roofing. A roofer can spot a bad roof a mile away. But the average layman, man, see, I found the ding right there in that front door. After you do this for a couple years, after you're a body man or a painter or whatever, if you work in the body industry, you can start spotting these in every car you look at. And that's what you're looking for. And there's 1, 2 right there. See them? You can barely pick them up on camera. They're really tiny. I doubt if there's one on that front fender. We have a little upper fender damage on there. That rubber, weather stripping needs to be cleaned up. But none of it's rotted away. It's all still in good shape. There's 2 little ones right there on that back door. And I don't know if you're seeing them, but I can see them. The camera's not helping. The camera actually makes it more difficult to see. There's another one right there. So we have a couple of dings on the passenger side. And I'm seeing something else. And we're going to get back to this trunk lid in a minute. First we're going to take a good look down the driver's side, and we're still looking for dings. And these quarter panels seem to be, I mean, they have that sap damage, they have some scratching and some rock chips and stuff, but I don't see any, dings on these quarter panels. They're in good shape. There might be one on this back door on the passenger side. I'm looking at something. Yep, right there. I saw it right there, about 5 inches under that door handle toward the back. And on the front door, I'm looking at it through the camera. I'll point to it if it's obvious. I can keep the camera still. This is looking a little amateur there, John. Yeah, you see how bad of a shape that brown is? Good shape, the bottom. All needs to be redone, and I'm going to do that in the spring. It's going to be one of the first jobs I do in the spring. I'll be working on this all through the winter, and I'll explain that at the end of the video. And we're taking another look at the front bumper that I just restored, and I'm really proud of how that came out. I really worked hard on it, and I just want to get the whole car looking like that. Here I'm going to show you that factory paint run. There's actually two of them side by side. It's actually a paint sag that's about 5 or 6 inches wide. The whole area of paint just sagged because they put it on too heavy, and that resulted in 2 runs right around this fender opening, this wheel well here. I don't know if you can see it. That's 2 paint runs, which is actually a paint sag. Goes all the way up from here to here. There's a sag there and a sag there. Or a run. You don't see factory paint runs too often, but this car went for 28 years and nobody ever caught that. They didn't catch it at the factory. So, I don't know. Shame on you, Lincoln, for letting this get out. Yeah, all that right there was sagging. And that's a run, and that's a run. I've never seen this. I've owned this car since, I don't know, 2013 or 14, and I have never noticed that. All the times I watched it, never saw it until this day. So now we're going to turn the car around and we're going to point out all the hail damage dings on the hood and the trunk. And we have quite a few on this hood. This whole hood needs to be restored. And it's best to get it as clean as possible. Otherwise, the dirt on the car is going to distract you and might look like a ding when it's not really a ding. At this point, my eyes are getting a little tired of looking at the hood, so I'm going to move on back to the trunk, and then I'm going to come back to the hood and get a fresh perspective on it. So I know what I'm going into in the year 2021 as far as the body's concerned. And I live in Tennessee, and although it doesn't get, ridiculously cold, and I'm not up north, it does get cold around here. And cold to me is a lot higher temperature than it probably is to you. I get cold really easy, and I hate it. I despise winter, and I usually hibernate all winter other than playing pool. So currently I'm working on getting heat in my shop, so with body issues I can take the trunk off the car, mark it so it goes back on there, take it in the shop and do the body work in there. And I can do the same with the hood, although the hood, it's a big hood, and it's going to make it a tight squeeze inside the shop. I think I can rearrange some furniture and get things going right to where I can even paint it in there throughout the winter. Also, I can do the interior of the car throughout the winter because I can sit inside the car and let the engine run and turn the heat on and go to town on everything that needs to be done in the interior. So that's my plan. I want to stay productive on this car, and I want to keep progressing on it. I don't want to just wait until the winter is over, So that's where we are. So we have 11 hail damage dings on the hood of the car, and we have 4 hail damage dings on the trunk of the car. I mean, there's door dings on the side of the car. There's that big dent in the rocker panel, and there's some rock chips, and the whole back bumper needs to be restored. But those things can wait until the spring.